And winter is coming.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle, and welcome back to Winter is Coming!
Now, before we get to today's topic, I have to talk about last week's episode, because I screwed up. Royally. When ranking all Arctic vehicles, and even complaining there were so few I had to cheat and add some, I completely forgot one. Namely the 1994 Blockbuster.
I honestly don't know how this happened, but let's address it now.
It kinda looks like a souped up 90s extreme version of the Snowcat, with more room for figures and a pretty ridiculous looking missile launcher. It really shoots, rapid fire in fact, and looks like it could take several eyes out at once. Even so, I don't hate it. In fact, the vehicle is pretty cool, not to mention big, so I'll retroactively add it to the good tier.
Now let's move on to today's subject.
As I mentioned in a recent Saturday Shorty, though Hasbro was very fond of repaints and reusing body parts, they almost never made Arctic versions of existing characters in the original line. That seemed weird to me because they'd be cheap to make, and Hasbro was all about that. I also mentioned this did happen in later, more modern G.I.Joe lines.
So today, we're taking a look at the first time this happened.
So meet the Cobra Polar Force. This set of 3 figures was released in 1998 with no original body parts, and was part of the second tier of repainted G.I. Joe toys. The first tier, the dreaded 1997 line, was for the 15th anniversary of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, and was exclusive to Toys R Us. That line was successful enough so that next year a second set of Toys R Us exclusives was produced. Though without the 15th anniversary branding, because, well, it wasn't the 15th anniversary anymore.
Duh!
That wasn't the only change to the packaging though. You might have noticed something is missing. Yeah, there's no card art. At all. It's just a camo pattern. There isn't even art on the frickin' file cards. I mean, what the hell?
Now, you know me, right?
I never miss an opportunity to crap in Hasbro's cornflakes because boy did they deserve it. So I could just call them cheap and move on. Now, yes, it is cheaper to not have any card art.
But I don't think that was the actual reason this time.
My guess is that they didn't want to repeat the card art debacle from 1997. You see, they had made prototype toys and produced the packaging with all that lovely reused art, only for them to find out a lot of figure molds were either missing or broken, so they had to use other ones. That's why you've got art of version 1 Cobra Commander, while the figure uses the battle armor mold. And no, painting it blue didn't help.
Anyway, that is, I think, the reason they didn't bother with the card art.
Just in case it happened again. There was box art of the vehicles though. I guess they were more confident of having those molds. Plus you couldn't really get away with having no art on those toy boxes.
Let's talk about the actual figures now.
I've only shown you this carded set, and there's a good reason for that.
Because here are the ones that I've got.
Yeah, see the problem? The yellowing is atrocious. Just as bad, if not worse, than what happened to some of the original white figures. People in the comments have righteously mocked my original snow job, but at least that yellowing is consistent. Here it's only on the heads and lower arms. There's a reason for that, as these body parts use a softer, less rigid plastic than the rest of the figure. I understand why they did this on the lower arms, to prevent thumb breaking, but I have no clue why the heads use the same plastic. It's just really unfortunate this type of plastic is so prone to yellowing. It ruins what are perfectly fine figures.
Moving on.
This set is made up of Firefly, a Night Creeper, and a Snow Serpent.
This annoyed me at the time.
Since it's 2 army builders and 1 unique character, so if you wanted a bunch of troops, you'd end up with a lot of surplus Fireflies. The only saving grace is you could always pretend those Fireflies are nameless troops too. Having said that, I have mixed feelings about the choice of figures for this set. Firefly is fine. First version mold, and it's good to have an Arctic version of the character. The Snow Serpent is okay, better colors than version 2, but not as good as the mail-in version.
One question though.
Why use the version 2 mold? I mean, it's good, but version 1 was great and iconic. I guess that mold was missing at the time, though apparently it was found later, as it was used in 2007, to create the Snow Serpent Commander that was a Collector's Club exclusive. Then lastly, there's the Night Creeper.
And that's a weird choice.
I don't think the Night Creepers ever scratched that nostalgic itch. Well, not in the way other older figures did anyway. Why not a Battle Android Trooper? Or a Cobra Trooper?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess the answer is missing molds again.
For accessories, Firefly has all his original ones, while the Snow Serpent is missing his working missile launcher.
No big loss there.
And the Night Creeper is missing his backpack, which is a significant loss. Also, since this is a Polar Force set, why not give all three of them snowboards? How are Firefly and the Night Creeper supposed to keep up with the Snow Serpent? Hell, just give all three of them skis and ski poles or snowshoes or something. Overall, I like the idea of the set, and don't even mind the choice of figures that much, but that yellowing is hard to get over. I'm glad I never did army build these guys, as that would be a sorry sight right now.
Now, this is just a toy review, we're not gonna get into the characters.
But I did check the packaging to see if there was any story that explained why this team exists.
And there is some justification.
Not for the Snow Serpent though. The file card is pretty loyal to the original, but then again he doesn't need a justification for being there. It's a Snow Serpent. Of course he's gonna be in the Polar Force. For Firefly, the card mentions he's moved to a Cobra Polar base to avoid future confrontations with Snake Eyes.
Which, yeah, sure, kinda flimsy, but I'll take it.
Lastly, the Night Creepers just have part of their clan set up in the polar region and train in cold weather combat there.
Yeah, that's really thin ice. Pun intended.
By the way, it just hit me that for a set called the Cobra Polar Force, only the Snow Serpent is an actual Cobra. Yeah, Firefly and the Night Creeper are mercenaries.
And since I haven't talked about the detailing this time, I'll mention it now.
It's a good sober color scheme for all three with plenty of good highlights. But you know what's missing? The Cobra logos. Maybe they're all mercenaries. Okay, the Snow Serpent does have that Cobra belt buckle, but that's barely noticeable. And that was the 1998 Cobra Polar Force. Good concept, good figures, but that yellowing is a kick in the groin.
And this was the 399th episode!
The next videos won't be numbered episodes, so you'll have to wait a bit for the big 400, and I honestly haven't decided yet what the subject will be.
If any of you have something you'd like to see, do let me know in the comments below.
Do you have any toy or character in mind? Just be aware it can be anybody that would qualify for a main character May.
From all of me here at Half the Battle, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?